A few weeks ago, I was driving to get a haircut, and I started thinking about the people that are in the waiting room of a hair salon, or whatever you call a haircut place. And I started thinking about how everyone in a waiting room has basically said, I don't like how I currently look. And it got me thinking, wait, what if you see someone in the waiting room and you're like, wait, no, that looks good. So what are you doing to change it? Like, wait a minute, you don't like that, but that looks good. And maybe they don't know it. But you can't tell them. They made the drive. They've already picked out some like test pictures that they're going to show their hairdresser. And they're going to be like, yeah, can we get, we're like this. And it's weird to me to think that everyone in the waiting room of a hair salon has basically said indirectly that I don't like how I currently look. So let's change this up. But what if there's someone in there that looks, good? And you're like, "Oh, you shouldn't mess with what's going on right now because this is good." I mean, sure, the plus side is they look great right now. But the downside is, oh my god, that's all about to change. Anyways, I go into my haircut place and, my hairdresser calls me over. She's like, "Hey, how's it been?" I'm like, "I'm good." She's like, "I really like how your curls are coming in." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, it looks great." She's like, "Your hair looks great, actually." So what are we changing? And I was like, oh God, I'm one of the waiting room schmucks. I'm one of those people that's like, let's change this up. But then she's the other person in the waiting room that's like, oh my God, wait, what's that guy going to do to his hair? Because it looks great right now. And so on one hand, I was a winner. Someone was like, you look great. But on the other hand, I was a loser because they were like, what are you going to do to yourself? But I feel like a winner, because I did get the haircut. On the previous episode, I had longer hair. Previous episode of this podcast, my hair was longer. And I also had talked about how I took a day trip to San Francisco. I talked about that trip. I went to the Warriors game. But then a few days later, I went to LA for a couple days and in San Diego for a couple days. And while on that trip, I took some notes of things I had noticed. So this episode, let's just go through my list of notes and see what we got. And also get back in the rhythm of this thing. I haven't been in front of a camera or like recording a video in probably a month now. And I don't think I've recorded a YouTube video in like 3 months. I haven't posted a YouTube video in 5 weeks. I'm working on it. This past month, I don't know. I've just kind of taken a break from like a shit ton of stuff that's not real life. Like I've just been like going places and like watching shows. I watched all of Abbott Elementary. I've watched all of Atlanta, and I'm currently 3 seasons deep into Modern Family. So I've just been talking to people, traveling, and watching shows, which I know is kind of like depressing. It's not depressing. No, that's a good life. That's fine. I don't know. I haven't like made anything, which is weird to me. Because that's like, to me, what like, gives life meaning. I'm also quickly realizing, and you don't know this, but this is like the 4th time I've tried to start this podcast. Yeah, I think I suck at this now. I didn't realize it because I was doing it every week, but this is something like a muscle you have to maintain. I didn't realize that. It's hard to talk for 45 minutes straight, even like 3 minutes straight. Like the couple times I tried to do this before, I just messed up. Like, I don't know. I started talking about nothing, and then I was like, oh, we should just stop and start over. So yeah, this is also very weird to me, like talking to a camera. I haven't done this in a while. There is a certain like cadence to it. I don't know. There's a certain, oh no, am I, now this is going nowhere. Now I'm going to have to restart this. No, I'm not going to. Let's just get straight into the LA trip notes. LA, San Diego. Well, first, I get to the airport. It's like Wednesday. It's like noon. And I noticed when I was sitting at my gate, just, waiting for the, what do you call it? The boarding to start. I noticed I felt super like safe because, we all have to go through security. And I was like, so no one has a weapon on them. And then it got me thinking, wait a minute, do you think people have more confidence in an airport because there's no weapons? Like someone would be more willing to get into a fight because they know that the other person can't, like, shank them or shoot them. I was like, huh, that's interesting. But then I was like, what would you fight over? Like someone in a Starbucks line, or someone took the last like neck pillow, and you're like, hey bud, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And then what do I think that would lead to them, flipping out a knife and being like, you want to go, bud? And then they get banned from airports for the rest of their life. I don't think that's a thing that would happen. But it got me thinking, I think if anyone was ever deterred from starting a fight in an airport because they were worried that the other person had a legitimate weapon, I was like, oh, well, this just gets rid of that because there's security in place. I thought of a really bad joke. I'm not going to say it. Shit. That's something also I've noticed as I talk to like real life people. You know how on this podcast I always like stop myself from saying certain things? I've noticed as I've been talking to people in real life, I say those things. And it's most of the time it's good, but it feels good to say some things. Because it's like you can take a joke like a couple steps, and then that step is either like too far, with some people, or it just makes it that much, like it really finishes the joke off. And it just, feels great to just get finished off with your friends, I realize how that sounds. Anyways, I go to this airport, we finally board, and I board in group B. I think there's like, group C. I think that's what it goes up to or something like that. And this lady comes on to the plane. I think she's in her like 30s, and she has a coffee in hand. And she's got, one rolly bag. I don't know what to call them. Like a rolling luggage, I had a rolly backpack in early elementary school. And I think that really set me up for what I am now. I'm a rolly backpack guy. It was efficient. I don't get why the rolly backpack has this negative connotation to it. Why would you want to put that much stress on your shoulders, on your back, especially when you're young? You're trying to grow. People, always jokingly say like, "Oh, how'd you get so tall?" I feel like as a kid I was like a little taller than others, and the parents always like to be like, "What are you doing to your kid, huh? We got to do that." And then sometimes the parents get a little ambitious, and they ask me. They go straight to the source. They're like, "Hey, kid, parents out of this. What are they doing to you, huh? How'd you get so tall?" And then you got to come up with jokey answers where it's like, "Oh, I eat my fruits and vegetables, and I go to sleep every night for 8 to 9 hours." And they're like, "You're such a good kid." But what it really was is that I didn't have a backpack weighing me down. My spine was free to do what it was meant to do, grow. All these people wearing all these backpacks when they're younger, they don't realize the negative thing that it's doing to their biology. And that's that it's shrinking them. Have you noticed how short people are the smartest? That's because they read the most books and they had the most weight holding them down. That's also why dumb people get the nickname airhead. It's because they're so tall, so their head is up there in the clouds. It's in the air, and they don't know what the fuck is going on. Because when they were younger, they didn't read books. I know, I'm an anomaly. I'm tall and smart, so that's the only reason I put that together. I don't know. I guess I'm just God's little gift. Who's to say? Well, really me, and sometimes my mom. She likes to brag, Well, she calls it bragging. I call it lying because it's not true. But we have fun. Anyways, this lady comes on the plane with this coffee, and she, looks around at some people, but then she lands on me, and she said, "Hey, can you quickly hold this coffee while I put my bag up?" And I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "Of course, yeah." And I was like, "Well, I could put your bag up instead. You could hold the coffee." And she was like, "Well, I see your arms. You can barely handle the coffee. Okay, just let me take care of the bag. I was like, okay, that's cool. Now it's noon on a Wednesday and I'm getting fucking roasted by Little Miss Coffee over here. Jesus. She wasn't exactly, a bodybuilder herself. Can we just make that clear? Okay? It's not like she was so tough on her end either. Needs a coffee to get through a day. If you say, I need a coffee, don't talk to me unless I've had my coffee, you're weak. Mentally and physically. You have no ground to stand on, okay? What? Anyway, she says, can you hold my coffee while I put my bag up? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And in that moment, I just felt so much like warmth, I mean, it was iced coffee, but inside I felt so warm. I was like, oh my God, she trusts me. I'm a complete stranger. There was something so like fulfilling about a stranger looking at you and being like, can I trust you for these next couple seconds with this coffee? Because no matter what I've done in my past, no matter how bad of a person, no matter my flaws, no matter, anything I've done, any mark on my record, she was like, I trust you in this moment. And I thought that was such a beautiful thing, And a coffee is an intimate thing. It's this custom curation, They went to Starbucks, they waited in line, and then they gave this custom order. It had all that Sharpie marking on the side of the coffee, so you could tell she really put them through the ringer with those instructions. And to make this little custom curation in a 12-ounce cup just to hand it off to me for a couple of seconds, and to think that she needs this thing, to make the flight bearable, to have the rest of the day. She needs it for a little jump start. And to just hand it off to me and be like, hey, can you hold this for a few seconds? I thought that was so cool. I thought that was like the coolest thing that I have achieved in the past 5 years. A stranger's trust with their iced coffee. So she puts her bag up. And then, another girl comes down the aisle, and she's probably like my age. And she comes and sits right next to me, and she's, was in group C or whatever. So she got, fucked with a middle seat. But then over the course of the flight, I started noticing, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? We have like so much in common. I was like, we have the same shoes. We each like ate gum on the way up, We got the same drink, just a water. You like to keep it, We like to keep it. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the word I was searching for was, but we like to keep it tame on the way up. On the way down, that's a different story. But, we both got a water, and this was the interesting part, when we got these snacks, the little thing of pretzels and like trail mix and shit, we both put the napkin in it the same way and crumpled it the same way, and I was like, oh my God, look at us, So what I'm basically saying is the wedding is in 2 months. I'm looking forward to it. You all are invited, and I can't wait to see you there, I don't know. But no, I just thought it was weird. Like everything, we did the exact same. Same shoes. Just all our mannerisms were the same, and it was freaking me the fuck out. I don't know if it's because I'm not the greatest on planes, Actually, I say that, but I think I'm fine. I just think mentally there's so much chaos going on that I'm like, oh, I'm a wreck on planes, but I'm probably completely normal. That I think I was just seeing things, She lifts her arm. I also lift my arm. I'm like, look at us, No one ever does that shit. Anyways, I finally land in LA, and my Uber driver, I get an Uber. I start looking at his profile because what else am I going to do, LA's just fucking freeways and tall buildings. Not much to look at. That didn't stop me from taking pictures, though. I took copious amounts of pictures from the back of this Prius. Do they show anything of significance? No. It's like I said, it's freeways and tall buildings, but I was like, oh, I got to take a picture of this. I've only been to LA a few times. So, you got to make it count anytime you're there. I got to compare notes. I got to see, does the freeway and all this cement look the same as last time? Oh, new graffiti? Great. But I was in the back of this Uber, and I was looking at my Uber driver's profile, and I found out he has 3,000 5-star rides. And it got me thinking, wait a minute. That means at least, because this is 3,000 5-star rides. I don't know if he's batting, 1, 100% or whatever. If he has a perfect record, but I'm like, this means at least 3,000 people have sat where I'm sitting. And then I started thinking, wait, how many people's heads have touched this headrest? And then I quickly went like this, I was like, no, fuck that. I'm not, I don't know how people groom, especially their dome piece. I don't know what's back there. So I know I went quickly from a relaxed state to an erect state. I realize now also how that sounds weird. My bad. Anyways, I get there, and on the first night, Wednesday, I'm going to a Lakers game. And I get in my hotel room. It's great. And then I come back out, and I get in the elevator, and I'm on like the 9th floor, and it stops at the 7th floor. And this guy gets on. He's in this suit. He looks like a bodyguard type, I could tell he wasn't, suited up for enjoyment. I could tell he was suited up for, like, profession, He wasn't suited up for recreation. That shit was purely professional. And so he starts making conversation with me. And you're probably like, also, by the way, you're probably like, wait, how do you know it's not recreation? How do you know it's professional? He also had one of those, those like wiry earpiece things, that like spies or like Secret Service and shit in movies have, Do you think the Secret Service in real life has those little like wiry things, or is that too cliche? Do you think people join the Secret Service and then they're like, and here's your little wiry earpiece? And they're like, oh, really? They're like, what's wrong with that? And you're like, I don't know, it's just, don't you think it's a little on the nose? And you're like, no, it's supposed to go in your ear. If anything, it's on your ear. And you're like, no, that's not, okay, never mind. And then they do it. Oh, no. I just thought of a terrible joke again. No, I definitely can't say that one. Anyways, I'm in the elevator with this guy, and he looks down. He gives me a quick up, down. And he said, New Balance, huh? I had New Balance. I had the 574s, the gray black colorways on, He goes, New Balance, huh? I was like, yeah, you like them? He was like, yeah, they look good. I was like, what's your favorite silhouette? And he was like, oh, they make great stuff. You know what I like the best? I was like, do tell, because that was my question. He was like, the ones I like the best, I love how colorful they are. I was like, that didn't really answer my question. And then he got down to the 2nd floor where like the party lounge is, and he got off. He was like, you have a good one, bro. I was like, yeah, man, you too. So you can see very like fulfilling conversations we're having here, Anyways, I get in line to Lakers game, and Jesus Christ, man. Laker game lines are busy as shit. Later, you'll see that I went to a LA Kings game, which is an ice hockey game, and then I went to an LA Clippers game also. Bro, the lines are not busy at all. Laker games, holy fuck. You would have thought that we were all running away from some like natural disaster the way we were all packed in there. Like there was no breathing room. Everyone's too loud for some reason. Probably like, that's the volume of people, Garv. No, I mean like individuals were just louder. I think the LA Lakers crowd is just a louder crowd. I don't know why. There's just more excitement about seeing LeBron sit on the bench. Excuse me also, I have to take care of my allergies. I got this drippy faucet because it's fucking April. This is bullshit, man. I hate allergies so much. I don't even get, like, humans have, like, responses to things, right? There's, like, things built into our biology or whatever because of our ancestors. What the fuck are allergies? What's their deal? You're supposed to look nice in spring pictures, right? But my eyes are all red. I'm like sniffling. There's shit running down, my upper lip. I'm like, I just look like I got into a fucking boxing match. This doesn't look good at all. But I guess our ancestors didn't take photo ops into account, did they? Those dumb motherfuckers. But I get in this line of this Lakers game, and it's packed. There's people everywhere, but that doesn't stop me from seeing some individual shit happening. And the individual thing I saw happen was there was this family. It was like a mom, and it was like three sisters and a brother. And one of the sisters, I think the oldest sister, she slapped and spit on her brother. And the mom was laughing. And I was like, Mom, you gotta stifle that laughter, or else we're gonna have a Netflix doc in a couple years here, okay? And then they're gonna be like, what were the signs? I don't know. Obvious? How about that one? Try that one on for size. Older sister just spit and slapped her brother, and the mom laughed. We never saw it coming. They were such a good family, the Coopers. Who would have thought that young boy would have slain them all? I would have thought, and I didn't even know they were the Coopers. I saw that shit immediately. That was terrible. Anyways, I get into the Lakers game, and there's this woman in front of me. I got there just in time for the national anthem. And this woman in front of me, as she stands for national anthem, she's just holding her fist up the whole time. And I don't know what that means. I'm not sure. It means something power, right? Like, yeah, I it means like some kind of power, right? It means like, yeah, I don't know. It has a lot of attitude, right? Like, she's standing for something. Well, she was standing and holding her fist, but I don't know. I don't think she really believed in her cause, which I'm not too clear on. But I don't think, she was standing that strong behind it, because you could see halfway through the national anthem, her hands started like shaking a little bit. Because I think the blood, was all coming down. She was like, oh, fuck, I didn't think this one through. But she has to stand for her cause, so she just kept up there, and that shit was wavering hard. Anyway, she made it through. And then there was this little girl and dad in front of me the whole game. And they were having a blast. Like, she was dancing a bunch. Her dad was dancing a bunch. They had great chemistry, They were almost like family. They actually, no, they were. Yeah, no, the father, daughter. That's exactly what was happening. But I thought I was at a Lakers game, not a father-daughter dance. Oh my God, this guy's hilarious. But they started like halfway through the game throwing up gang signs. And I'm not even going to try to recreate that. But yeah, they were throwing up some very precarious finger motions. And I was like, guys, you got to calm that shit down, okay? We are in LA. There's a lot of gangs here. Let's not get carried away, okay? Abigail and Tony, I don't know, he seemed like a hip guy. Tony. But yeah, that made me kind of nervous. I was like, guys, I know we're having fun here, but let's maybe, tone down the Italian. Let's just keep the hands down, okay? And then the game ends, I'm leaving, trying to get to like the most unpacked elevator, and I saw these two Indian guys. And the fact that they're Indian is important for what I'm about to tell you. You could tell that they were searching for someone. They were doing and then they were whispering to each other, and they're like, a lot of that. And then they locked eyes with me. And immediately their demeanor changed. They went from like nervous, like searching for someone, and then they saw me and they were like, we found him. And I was like, I didn't know I was lost. I don't know why me getting found is any, big deal. But they saw me and then they waved me down. They were like, come over here. I was like, yeah, what's up, guys? And they're like, can you take a picture of us? I was like, oh, I see what happened here. I was like, you were looking for someone that you'd be comfortable asking for a picture. And I don't know if this is what happened, but the fact that we are all Indian in this party here, I think holds some significance. And I felt like I was on a dating app, you know? I felt like I was watching these two guys just look at everyone, like swipe left, and then they saw me and they were like, bingo, that's our guy. I was like, you only got that I was a trusted individual to take this picture based off my appearance. How dare you? I was like, who's to say I'm not going to take your phone and run away? You just saw what I looked like, and you're like, yeah, we trust that guy. How dare you? And now you're like, Garv, you're a hypocrite. You were talking about how good you felt being trusted by the coffee lady. Now why are you so critical of these guys? Well, that lady was an Indian. I think that this was race motivated. That's right, folks. I think these guys only wanted me for my body. But that lady, she saw my character. That's right. That's I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, no, these guys, you could tell they were like, yeah, we don't want all these people to take a picture. But him, that's one of ours. Let's come on over here, bud. We gotta get this picture. And then you'd be like, oh yeah. You know, I tried to get in the picture. They're like, no, that's not. I tried to take a selfie with them. They're like, we're good. But I think I took some mean pictures. Let me tell you what. I showed it to them. I was like, let me know if it looks good. I was like, I can take another one. They were like, oh my God, it looks great. I was like, I know. I got some like full bodies there, some upper bodies. I mean, you got it all there. Okay. That'll be $20 for the session, by the ways. Okay. And if you want any of those hard printed, just let me know. I can talk to my guys. Anyways, I saw this, at this game, I saw this very attractive, tall gentleman. You know, maybe like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", I don't know. He's a tall gentleman. And he was wearing this 76ers jersey. And the 76ers was the team that the Lakers were playing. And I saw there was a Ben Simmons jersey. And I don't know if you know too much about basketball, but Ben Simmons was on the Sixers. And then he had all of these problems because of how the playoffs ended last year. And just like problems with the organization. And he left, let's just say, not on good terms. And so everyone that is a 76ers fan fucking hates Ben Simmons. And I don't know if this guy was a Sixers fan, but he had the jersey on, you know? And this was like a tall, attractive dude. I was like, this guy has it all. You know, like this guy is a real Casanova, right? I just learned what that word meant today. Anyways, I was like, there's no flaw with this guy. And then he turns around, and on the back of his jersey, you know, it says Simmons, because, you know, that's how jerseys are. But then there's a piece of tape above it that says Bum Simmons. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it. His name is Ben Simmons, you know? And then he made a custom Bum Simmons jersey. And immediately I was like, this guy's so attractive, you know, everything. And then I was like, this guy's a fucking loser. Who makes a Bum Simmons? What the fuck? Like, even to think of like going into some cupboard and like getting tape out. And it was like Scotch tape, you know, like that beige tan looking tape, you know. And he takes that shit out. He finds a Sharpie. And you can imagine him asking his frat bros, hey guys, do any of you have a Sharpie? I'm doing an art project. And then one of, you know, fucking Kyle throws over a Sharpie. And then he writes on this piece of tape, Ben, because he forgets the joke he's making, but then he like rips that and throws away. And then he writes bum, and then he throws that shit on his jersey, and he's like, oh, this is hilarious. Bro, if anyone's a bum, it's not the motherfucker that's earning millions of dollars to sit on a bench. It's you, dumbass. Why would you make that jersey and then sport that shit in public? That just shows from an outsider, you know, not that I'm trying to, you know, get with you, unless, you know, you're into that. But that just shows that you're a fucking loser. The only loser in the situation is you. Ben Simmons on the Brooklyn Nets bench, just reeling it in. Not shooting a basketball in like a year and still making enough to set himself up for life. And here you are with your shitty art project telling everyone, advertising to the world that you're a fucking loser. Anyways, that guy was like a 9, you know, in my book. Immediately put him at a 3. And I don't think he realizes that did that. And actually, I don't even think he was ever a 9. I think that little art project gave us an insight into him and revealed that he was a 3. I don't think it made him a 3. I think it revealed that he was a 3. That's right. Anyways, we got about 10 minutes left, so let's, get through this shit. Just know I went to my first ice hockey game, and it was interesting. It was actually really enjoyable. I think ice hockey's kind of, I came into it thinking it's kind of like stupid and boring, but no, it's good. It's a great, you know what I learned? It's a great social sport. If you want to just talk and like chill with friends, go to an ice hockey game. There's 3 periods, and in between each period, there's a 15-minute break. And there's not like too much action. Don't tell ice hockey fans this, but there's not like that much action in an ice hockey game, in my opinion. So like you can just be talking with a friend, and like it's not too loud because no one goes to these games. And then you have these 15-minute intermissions. So it's a great like social environment, and I actually think it's really dope. So if you're thinking about going to an ice hockey game, I highly recommend it. It's almost like going to like a minor league sports game, like minor league baseball, AAA baseball. Those are great because like nothing happens because it's baseball, and then no one shows up because it's AAA. So you can talk and just chill, and like there's something going on in the background, so you can feel like you're accomplishing something in life, but it's really just substitute teachers trying to make a full-time career out there. And yeah, you're just eating this giant hot dog that is made of probably like 7 different types of animals stuffed inside of this stale ass bread with mustard that's really just water with yellow food coloring. Anyways, let's skip all of the ice hockey stuff, and then let's see, what else do we got? Later that night, the ice hockey night, I went back to my apartment and I realized, I'm a little hungry, so I did some Uber Eats. I got Buffalo Wild Wings, and I also got some boba. Buffalo Wild Wings came first. I got it, brought it up to my hotel, and then a few minutes later is when the boba arrived. So I go down there and I meet this guy, and I was looking for this small sedan type car, and then this van pulls up, this red van. I was like, oh, this is the guy because it has the right license plate, just not the right car. And I go up to the passenger window, and in the back of the van, that sliding door, that shit opens. I was like, oh my God, is this really happening right now? But then this woman comes out, and I was like, oh, this is a family. The driver was the dad, and then in the passenger seat, they had their daughter, like very young daughter. And then in the back, they had their mom. And the way Uber Eats works is you tip when you order, but then after you get your order, you can adjust your tip. And when the mom gave me my boba and shut the door, and I gave him the confirmation code, I was like, have a good night. I was walking back to the elevator of the hotel, and I fucking increased their tip because I was like, oh my God. I felt so bad. I was like, oh, you're with your family doing like Uber orders on a Thursday night? I was like, I feel terrible. And so I increased their tip. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, is this all their ploy? Like, this is all part of their plan, right? They're driving around with their daughter. To their daughter, they're like, yeah, we're just going to take you sightseeing. It's good for you to see the city. But really, what they're doing is they're punking suckers like me. Because they know, I'm soft. So I'll see your whole family and I'll be like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Here, take more of my money. But really, they had this shit planned out. You know what? I bet it was their daughter's plan all along. Yeah. She saw her magic work in school, She went up to the cafeteria, like lunch lady, and then she was like, my tummy hurts. Can I get more food? And then the lunch lady was like, oh, honey, of course you can get more food. Here, let me get you some chicken tenders. And she knows how to play that card. She goes home. The parents are like, are you hungry when it gets to dinner? And the daughter's like, no, I had an extra lunch. And they're like, extra lunch? How'd you swing that? And she's like, well, I just turned the charm all the way up, and then I got a free lunch. She was like, I know you guys do that Uber business thing. You should take me along with you. That way you earn more in tips. People will see me. I'll go, ooh, my tummy. And then they'll throw more money at you. It's simple math. And that's what fucking happened. Oh my God, I got punked by a fucking 6-year-old. Oh. I don't feel good. I feel dirty. I feel like I got fucking... What is that word? There's a word for that, like, right? Like when you get like tricked out of money. Anyways, the next day, I was going to meet up with friends. We were going to go to San Diego. But before that, we were going to go to a Clippers game. But before that, I had to check out of my hotel. But then I had about 5 hours to do nothing. Like, there was nothing really. I mean, I could go around LA, but I was like, you know, I was a little tired. I was like, let's just chill. So I looked up, there was a movie theater nearby. I was like, oh, let's watch some movies. I was like, what do we got here? So I finally watched the new Spider-Man movie, which to call it new is even weird because it came out like 4 months ago, I think, right? I don't know. But I finally watched that movie. And then right after that, I watched Batman. And I felt, I don't know, when I was watching Spider-Man, so when I watched Spider-Man, I was in the theater completely alone. And every about 15 minutes, there would be a guy that comes in that just walks around, the bottom seating area where you got to like look like this to watch the movie. He would walk around that seating area and then leave. It wasn't a random guy. It was a guy that worked there. And so it got me thinking. I was like, oh, I wonder if they have like a tracker, They're like, one person like we scanned one person's ticket to watch this movie. So if I see more than one person, I'll know that they are in here illegally, because it's the law to watch movies after scanning a ticket. You can't do it without scanning your ticket or else they'll kill you. So I got kind of nervous. I was like, oh no. Batman was like right next door. Like it's literally like a 10-second walk from Spider-Man, but I was like, I got to go like down. I was also on the third story. So I was like, I got to go down to rescan my ticket because I don't want to, get kicked out. They're like, sir, did you scan your ticket? It's like, no, but I just didn't want to go through like the hassle of like going down. So I have the ticket. You can like see it if you want. Anyways, I go downstairs 3 stories. It was good though. I needed the walk, get those joints moving because I just watched a Marvel movie. So basically my entire body had atrophied because those things are fucking like war documentaries. They last forever. So I go downstairs and I tell the guy, I'm like, hey, I just came from upstairs. Just can you scan my ticket? And he's like, oh yeah. He scans it and he's like, yeah, you're up in the third. So what you're gonna? I was like, no, I know. I was like, I didn't come here for instruction. I came here to be a good guy. Okay, I'm the guy that tips when I see your whole family. Okay, I'm the guy that's gonna scan my ticket, not just go and see a movie for free. Which, by the way, is all right. I paid, so it's not even like I'm seeing it for free. Okay. I just know that if I didn't scan my ticket, I was gonna sit throughout all of Batman, which is also a really long fucking movie. I was gonna sit there for almost 3 hours and be like, "Yep, they're gonna get me." There's gonna be people that crash through the ceiling, in a helicopter, and be like, "There he is, get him!" And then I'm gonna get escorted out. Escorted sounds actually like a good thing. No, they were gonna like pin me down, like put me in handcuffs, and then carry my body out against my will. All because I didn't scan my ticket. So it's really not that I'm a good guy. It's just that I am paranoid about stupid things. So that's why I scanned my ticket. Actually, it's not even that I'm paranoid. I just needed the cardio. That was all it was. That's definitely what it was. It was. So anyways, yeah, I went down 3 stories, scanned my ticket, came right back up. But on the way back up, I did get like an icy. And then I realized, an icy and M&Ms is not a good look. For Spider-Man, I got water and M&Ms. For Batman, I got an icy, a water, and M&Ms. And I realized, if you go full sugar, it's not the play. But then I was watching some movies in my apartment a couple days ago, and I was eating M&Ms and extra cheesy Cheez-Its. Oh, wow. Oh my God, life-changing shit. So just know that if you ever go to movies, like now I have a go-to. If I ever go to movies, I'm going to get popcorn and M&Ms. That shit is fire. Actually, I think I did. Oh, yes. Oh, my bad. This is all on me. Sorry, coach. For Spider-Man, I only got an icy and M&Ms. I was like, that was really sweet. So then going into Batman, I got popcorn too. So I did popcorn, M&Ms, and water. I was like, yo, this is fire. Like the salty and sweet, you can't beat that shit. So I just want you to know, if you ever go to the movies, make sure you get M&Ms or whatever your, snack of choice is. It's got to be sugary. And then get that popcorn. And you will be blown away. I mean, your wallet will have been blown away because it's gonna fucking implode because you probably just spent $37 pre-tax, but it's gonna taste really good. So just make sure you do that. Anyways, the last thing I'll, you know, close up on here is that on the way back home, our flight got delayed. Basically, that's a whole story. Probably like takes 5 to 10 minutes to tell. But just know in the end, everything ended up getting delayed about 2 hours. But when we finally, boarded the plane for the second time, the pilot, gets over the thing and he goes, "Hey everyone, thanks for being so patient with us. And we've actually taken a look at the route, and I think we'll be able to make up for lost time up in the sky by taking the route that I have planned." And I was like, bro, just get us there safely. Don't got to do any crazy shit. That's like when a friend gets late picking you up and then they start speeding. I'm like, nope, just fucking get me there safe at this point. We're already late. You don't have to try to make up for that. Now just be safe, okay? And so when the pilot said that, he was like, we're going to try to make up for lost time up in the sky. I was like, you don't got to do all that. That's just get me there, bro. You don't gotta be Superman, okay? Let's just get up, get down, and get the fuck out of here, okay? Because I've had enough of y'all. So let's just do this and do it right, because already it's gone so wrong. But thanks for listening. That was, most of the notes I had about my trip. And yeah. First podcast back in a month. I'll talk at you next week. Okay? By the way, last week I didn't lie. Last week I said, I'll talk at you next week. By the way, next episode will be a little late. I never said how late. Okay? So I'm technically right. Was it a month late? Sure. But I did tell you it was going to be late. Anyways, I'll talk at you next. I'll talk at you next week. Okay?